Hey there, Wargamers, Justin our Paint here, and today we're going to talk about Nova 2023. I'd like to welcome you guys back to the channel. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you're new here, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and join the community. Here at the Armed Painter channel, we're trying really hard to help grow the Battletech offering here on the YouTube space and for content, and I appreciate you taking the time to stop by. So, what are we talking about today? In the quick little intro at the beginning, I said Nova 2023. If you aren't aware, for this year, this past August, I was the TO for Nova's 2022 Alpha Strike tournament. Our showing wasn't as high as I would want it to be, but I also think that people really didn't know that this event was going on. We had sponsorship material from not only Death Ray Designs, but Fortress Miniatures and Games, Bobby, and Derek from Aries Miniatures and Games. They both sent a huge amount of prize support in addition to what we were able to provide. We had 16 tables worth of terrain that DRD had built, painted and supplied, which, not to toot my own horn here, but I cut all of that, built it and painted it for the event. Not the best stuff that we've ever done in terms of paint quality, but good enough for an event, especially when I had to stock 16 tables. We didn't hit the 32 player mark, unfortunately, and this year we want to change that. So this year for Nova 2023, it's looking like we are probably going to have a Learn to Play Day / Open Play for Alpha Strike before the tournament starts. We'll also be hosting probably some painting classes that hopefully will skew towards mecha stuff, probably with our Steel Rift, but the things you'll learn in that would be useful for Battletech painting as well. In addition to Steel Rift, Learn to Plays, and maybe a Steel Rift tournament, I want to reprise the role of running the Alpha Strike 2023 tournament next year. In addition to the open play that we offer this year before the event, I want to do that this coming year. But I also want to do a kind of grinder style for Alpha Strike. So something where people can come and go. We'll have minis there and you can learn to play. It'll be really quick because it's Alpha Strike. Help you learn the rules, and if you're on the fence about an event, my experience with running last year, and I come from a TO background, so I was a tournament organizer for over a decade, like 13 years or so. I ran games for our local shop in a variety of different game mechanics or game systems. My event last year at Nova was one of the best events I've ever ran. Even if we didn't have the numbers, the quality and caliber of players was very high. And I don't say that in the like, boom, they were gonna smash you into the ground kind of players. The majority were just so damn excited to be playing a game and painting minis. The competitive side was second. We had a few competitive players, but I think that probably 90% were very casual. They just wanted to play, which is a breath of fresh air because coming from a background of doing like a lot of 40K, that game is very dominated by the yo dog kind of like smash people mentality, and I don't think that trend or that lends itself well to Battletech. I think that this is a much more niche, small community, and I think that people really enjoy, at least on the surface from what I've noticed, a more casual gaming experience. So for Nova 2022, my event was designed to encourage the casual players to come out, paint, and play, and also give something for competitive players to still participate in. If you're a competitive player and the rule set is designed for casuals and helps eliminate some of the cheese stuff, you're still probably going to do well because you're an advanced player, you're a skilled player, but it still levels the playing field a little bit to help encourage those who are less competitive or new to the game to get out and enjoy it. There's nothing that ruins a game system, in my opinion, more than it catering only to the hyper-competitive. You may sit at home and paint plenty of Battletech minis, but if you feel like, well, I can only get the casual games, which is fine, but if you ever wanted to participate in a community-run event, and you feel like you're discouraged because the players are too competitive, that's bad, right? That's not good for you, it's not good for the community, because you're not getting out and enjoying this with other people. The big push for me is that wargaming in general is a social contract between you and I, or you and the opponent that you're on the other side of the table from. Not only are you playing to win within the confines of the rule set that you are playing with that person, not just against that person. So the ups and downs, the happies, the sads, the laughs, the gurrs because something didn't go well, those are things you enjoy with that opponent. So enjoy what's happening, not just pursuit of the win. And that's what my event packet from last year was designed for, and what the event packet for this year is going to be designed for. So if you played in my event last year, sound off in the comments below. A, boom, thank you for coming. And B, I would love to have some of your feedback. I've got plenty of time between now and Nova next year to adjust my packet. Some of the major things that are likely to change, I think we're going to go from 5 games to 6. 2-day events, so 3 one day, 3 the next. We're going to change some of the scenarios from last year. That's one thing that I differ on from Southern Assault, which Fortress Miniatures and Games runs, Mr. Bobby himself. I post up my packet ahead of time so that you coming out to Nova are aware of what the scenarios are. I don't feel like people really prepped too much for that, but even if they did, I would rather you know ahead of time what to prepare for than to come in with a list that can't play the scenarios. I also feel like I made the scenarios pretty balanced so that if you brought a well-balanced list with a variety of units, you would do just fine in pretty much anything that was there. So we're going to adjust scenarios from last year to this year so that they're a little bit different, and we run an extra match. I think that most of the games last year, majority of players finished early in every round, so our point totals might not change, but I felt like we could get squeeze an extra round of Battletech in. You're at a convention anyway, why not play more games if time affords you that? So we're going to try. The big difference between now and next year, though, is the totality of the Battletech stuff that I'll be running on behalf of DRD. We are in negotiations with Robert from Fortress Miniatures and Games to sponsor that event in its totality. That is, perhaps Nova 2023, our event may be billed as Northern Assault, whereas Bobby's event here in North Carolina is Southern Assault. So our goal with this collaborative effort is to have an event that encourages not only the community to get involved, but to encourage some of those guys that have come out to Fortress 2021 and 2022 at Southern Assault to play, but to encourage them to go to Northern Assault, play there, get some bragging rights, come back a few months later to Winston-Salem and play in Southern Assault 2023 and be that big man on campus, so to speak, and like kind of strut around and like you're the guy that people want to beat because you got the previous battle, the previous war, the previous victory. You're now the guy at the top that people want to knock down a peg because you're the champion. You know what I mean? Like that kind of mentality, which breeds itself a little bit of competitiveness, but I think it would be kind of cool to have those bragging rights. And then see if you could be a back-to-back, Northern Southern Assault winner or something like that. So Bobby's event last year and this year, I think between the two, Southern Assault 2022 was better. I think that his list building requirements made it much better. And the handful of competitive lists, some were cheesy, some were just really, really good, was a small percentage of the community. And he had, I think, 52, 53 people come out, and at one point had almost 60 signed up, but several people had to drop out right before it started, which is unfortunate. But even with that mentality of like, I won, maybe I'll be back-to-back winner, the community there still skewed very casual and very fun. I placed, for example, top 10 a couple weeks ago. I was number 7, and I went 4-2. Apparently, at least the way it was explained to me, your sportsmanship is a big deal. And if you go 6-0, you may very well get first place, even if you have a very cheesy list. It is what it is. You got the wins. But when it comes to the kind of tiebreakers, you being a good sport, you having a fun, fluffy list actually matters, not just winning. Because if you and I have the same win record, as far as it was explained to me, the tiebreakers come down to being a good sport, having a fun list. What were you doing to bring something fun to the community to make other players' experience better and not just yourself? So that's what I'm aiming for hopefully Northern Assault at Nova Open 2023, and hopefully some of you guys will come out, play there, and then make the truck down to, I believe it's in Winston-Salem for Southern Assault 2023 as well, and see if you can get that gaming glory at both venues, which would be pretty cool. One of the things in closing here that I'm working on with Bobby, in addition to prize support from Death Resides and Fortress Miniatures and Games, I'm talking to Bobby about perhaps one of the incentives for winning first place is your entry for Southern Assault might be covered. At this time, we have not come to an agreement, but I think we might have something worked out there. We will see, but that's kind of like your invitation as the event winner to come down and play. And then having at least one other category where that same prize is offered as your entry's covered. And to be honest with you, like the entry fee at Southern Assault this year, I think it was like $30. You get $30 or more worth of swag just for showing up. So at that point, you just get free stuff, and your entry's covered, and you're the reigning winner. But having another category where someone else will also get an invite because they're like best general or best sport or best painted, something like that, so that it's not just the winner who gets invited to be the reigning champion to try and win back-to-back, but also like, hey, this category here, insert whatever name we go with, you were great for this community. You did more than just playing the game to win. you would be a valued asset within the Battletech community. We really want you to show up because you bring more to the table than just playing the game. So making sure that everyone's interests are catered to and we bring all of that to the table is important to us. So if you have any thoughts or comments, sound off below. Hopefully you guys will come out and participate. As always, thank you for hanging out with me today. Thank you for listening to me ramble, but it's time for me to sign off. If you enjoyed this, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. If you want to support what I do, check out the description below. We've got some links to Fortress Miniatures and Games and Death Ray Designs. You supporting them helps support me. As always, keep painting those models, keep rolling those dice, and I will catch you guys next time.